stream should be going. Just waiting to make sure it pops up on my side. There it is. Cool. So, another day, another randomizer. And I actually have a special guest with me today. I have Willow, who's... Oh, speaking of Willow, thank you for following, Willow.
Quite welcome.
So Willow's one of the devs for the randomizer, and so I've got Willow here with me today to go ahead and just do some commentary as I'm running along through this, because Willow will be on my couch if I end up making it to GDQ. So, yeah. The seed I'm running today is actually Thorial Malart's seed from yesterday, which I have not played, but they did a run before I got around to doing my daily run, so they're running my daily from yesterday, and I'm running theirs today. So that's how it worked out. I know they beat it in just over the time that I was getting, or like just over my estimate, so should be fine to run. So, start. Oh god, I randomized it again, didn't I? Whoop. Hang on. Fortunately, it lets me, wait. Can I move over to that side?
Nope.
Fully.
Yeah, you have to put it in again. That is one of the myriad of things that is going to be a little bit cleaner when we get out of beta.
I don't want to continue. I want to start. Okay, so start. So Willow, while I go ahead and get my first small set of things here before things get all kinds of crazy. For people who have been probably following along watching these on YouTube and have maybe no idea what's going on, I want you to go ahead and give us a little brief explanation of what a randomizer is, what it does to this game.
Yeah, alright, so a randomizer just takes all the items in a game and shuffles them up and puts them in different locations, so you get a little bit of a different playthrough experience when you're doing them. And this is probably one of my favorite examples of why the randomizer is cool, is because this weapon you will never ever see in speedrun mode, just because it just straight up doesn't spawn, and it's got like a 1 in 5 chance of spawning in story mode. But here, you get it as your first weapon, and you get to roll. So randomizer takes all the items and jumbles them up, so like progression, weapons, doesn't matter. Gets thrown all over the place and applies a couple like sanity checks to make sure that you can get to what you need to get to in order to beat the game. So that means things are going to be in really oddball locations. It's going to be pretty much an entirely different Metroidvania. It makes the level design very, very different.
Fantastic. How about a little bit of history of this one in particular, because this hasn't always been available in the beta and on Steam, and...
Yeah, the Axiom Verge randomizer has a long history. That's a good like second item there. Good lord. So the Axiom Verge randomizer has a bit of a long and complicated history. There was somebody that goes by Possum Senpai that developed the initial version, which took a valid Axiom Verge executable file and modified it to physically randomize the game. So like pros of that, it worked. Cons of that is that like it only worked on, I believe, the Epic Game Store version and had some issues with Steam. It was a little jank, and it wasn't as easy to get set up and running. Like there were install instructions, that kind of stuff. So we have kind of a very good working relationship with Tom Happ of Tom Happ Games, the sole developer of Axiom Verge, and he's provided like couch commentary for us in the past. He's pretty open to talking with us. We're kind of the people that he first pitched like AV2 to, or rather, but for like notified of first in a way of speaking. So he was like, hey, that randomizer is really, really cool. What if we made that as DLC for the game? So that's when myself, VGR, and Leamy were brought on to work with him and Dan to go build into the game. And it's in Steam beta right now in a pretty stable form and just available to the world. And we're like super, super happy about the ability to get it to everyone.
Didn't it also just get updated on Epic, or is it still not updated on Epic yet?
Yeah, we just brought it up to date on Epic. The only downside of launching betas on Epic is you have to have a meeting with their team every time. They don't let you just publish it yourself, so it lags behind a few versions, but they're both up to date now.
So there you go. If you guys are interested in playing, it is available on both platforms, and it is coming to consoles when it actually releases, correct?
Yes, it is coming to every console that we still have a license and ability to publish to, which means it will not be coming to Wii U and the PS Vita.
Axiom Verge came out on the Vita?
Yeah, Axiom Verge came out on a whole lot of things. It's basically, if you can name a console from the past 10 years, it's on it.
I'm gonna be honest, I actually didn't know it was on the Wii U until just recently. And I was like, this game came to Wii U? It's that old?
Yeah, it had a collector's edition on the Wii U that had a bunch of like really cool art and soundtracks with it.
Did it really?
Yeah, it did. I think it was called the Multiverse Edition. You can buy sort of a digital equivalent, but it doesn't come with a super nice box.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want it for, you know, the box. For anyone who doesn't know me that well, I'm a huge glutton for boxes. That's why I have all the Diablo Collector's Editions.
Oh, those are gorgeous.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, Axiom Verge is on pretty much anything because it's super lightweight and you can run it on pretty much a toaster.
I mean, I don't know if it comes through on my stream at all because of just how Steam's overlay works. But, like, right now the game's running at, like, 600, 700 frames, and that's actually really, really low for me. If I don't have things like XSplit, stuff like that running, the game runs at, like, 5,000 frames.
Yeah, capturing it definitely takes a toll, especially if you're doing CPU encoding. I know, like, streaming it over Discord is all CPU bound. But it's one of those things where, like, the VSync off bonus doesn't actually apply that much once you get beyond, like, 600-700 frames, because it's a logarithmic thing, so it's kind of... you get diminishing returns.
Right.
So you're where you need to be.
It's more so just funny of how many frames it runs at, because the 1080 Ti is kind of dumb. Or 2080 Ti, not 1080. I have a 2080, so I run everything at super high frames in this game, which is like, yeah, I'm gonna run like crazy.
Yep. Had a few games that, if you uncap VSync, they're just like, oh, I can take up all of the processor? Let's do it.
Yeah. Health up. I will grab a health up.
This is like the ideal seed right here.
It's pretty damn close.
You've got drone teleport, you've got white coat, you got fat beam, you're not even out of Arabu yet.
Well, from what I know, Thoriel said that the red coat could have been in a worse place, which means it's probably not in the worst place, but it's probably not also in a great one either.
I didn't catch the beginning. What difficulty logic are you running on?
Advanced.
Okay.
Yeah,
Should we go over the different logic?
I kind of didn't want to run Masochist, though I probably could. Just because I thought running that on show at GDQ, you know, it's going to be a whole lot of glitches. A lot of people are just going to be lost, and I don't think it would be, as entertaining as just running Advanced, which is just a little bit more difficult. And I didn't necessarily think that a lot of people would be into the idea of, like, the randomizer and stuff, which was a lot of what I wanted to do. I really wanted to get people into it and, you know, hopefully bring more people to the community, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I figured Advanced was probably a better idea for that.
Yeah, Advanced is probably my favorite mode of the randomizer, just because it works really well with, like, how my speedrunner brain works. It's like, all the tricks that I think I can do to get places, it takes that into account.
Oops. I missed the left side.
But yeah, Masochist is definitely what I would describe as not marathon safe.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very small chance of it making you do the double rocket jump in Maru, but it's a very present chance.
Not gonna lie, I actually didn't know for a long time how to actually get that item the drill way. Because back in, like, my original playthrough and stuff, I didn't end up getting it until I had trench coat.
Oh, I never got that one until I got red coat. I think, like, my casual playthrough, I want to say, was a solid, like, 60% items, and then when I started speedrunning, I started in 100% IMB. So that, like, I learned how to get that with red coat. I didn't even know the shaft was on the side until we were doing randomizer, and VGR told me that's how to get to it.
Yeah, I was building a tracker, and I'm like, okay, there's gotta be some other way to get to this, and I kind of accidentally threw my drone off the side there and found it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing. That would have been nice to know, you know, forever ago, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I was arguing with VGR, and he's like, you only need drill to get it, and I was like, on what planet? So do you have any spots in the randomizer that strike you as, like, I really hope it's not there because I hate this check?
I mean, I do a lot of checks, so I'm gonna grab homing. The spot I hate. Ooh, that's a really good one, actually. I don't actually know if I have an answer for that. Like, because I check places, it's more, I want things to be wherever I'm going to check. So it's like I even go and do some kind of out of the way checks a little bit here and there, in the same sense of like I just want it to be here so I can stop looking for it.
All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and I think in terms of like places I actually hate seeing things, just because of where they were. Here. Like, I hate seeing things there when I don't have a lab coat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, without lab coat, trench coat, or red coat to be able to get it, because it's like, I know I have to go forward, I know I've got to find something, and then I've got to come all the way back to get it. And that's happened. And it's just one of those things that it kind of sucks. But it's like, what are you going to do about it, right?
Yeah, and that's one of those things that like you get better at as you get better at randomizer. Like I take a very, I would describe it as cautious approach. I try to clear out an area 100% before I leave it. And then like some runners know like they can read in the logic a little bit more. Like Falk is a pretty good example of that. He finishes like sub 1 hour on pretty much every seed.
Well, I tend to not end up finishing till over an hour because I'm a filthy casual and refuse to go through Disco Hallway without enhanced drone launch.
Yeah, no, me too. There is a reason that is only a thing that we even consider in Masochist. Under default and advanced difficulty, you are not required, but it considers extended launch to be required to get through the game.
So speaking of difficulties, you want to give a little bit of an explanation, like what the differences of the difficulties are?
Yeah, so it's a little weird both to explain it from like a code standpoint and from like a social standpoint, is I guess how I would phrase it. Because default difficulty is really, really easy to describe. Default difficulty assumes that you have played Axiom Verge, and that is just about the only thing you know about Axiom Verge, is how it controls. Advanced difficulty pretty much assumes that you're a little bit more intimate with like some of the exploits like drone teleport chaining and like canceling the cooldown there, as well as like making some slightly more riskier jumps. It's usually more suited to like your average or NMG speedrunners, not to suggest that NMG speedrunners are average, but like the people that aren't super intimate with glitch tech. Masochist was designed around low percent, which is kind of our meme category, because low percent in this game is just brutal. Like it's really, really hard with items. It's not super easy without any of them. So VGR is the only one that has been bold enough to do low percent in so far, and from a code standpoint, the game stops applying any and all sanity checks to where it places items after it has placed and determined that you can get to grapple, high jump, and red coat, because that's all it considers that you need to be in the game. And that's how the other difficulties are defined as well. So we have a series of items that are considered progressional, like each of your 3 coats, the glitch guns, that kind of stuff. And we subtract those as we go through the difficulty. And we got a couple different combinatorial sets as well. So like, for instance, in advanced speedruns, you can either have drone teleport and red coat, or red coat and high jump and grapple for certain checks, because it has the same net effect. And then we also left in the difficulty slider that Tom put in there for normal and hard mode. But I don't know anybody that plays on hard, but sorry.
I'm sure somebody out there does.
Orloff did her casual playthrough on hard, and I respect that. It's the biggest anybody's ever stunted on me.
That's right there is a weapon I just hate seeing ever.
Oh, the Quantum Squiggler? It's awful.
I got that as first item once, and it was just like, no, why?
I actually do reset and like stop doing seeds if I get that as first item, because I don't want anything to do with it.
Oh, I ran the seed because it was one of my dailies, and I was just like, I'm running it. I don't like it, but I'm gonna run it because, yeah, this is another place I hate seeing things.
Oh yeah, that one takes forever if you don't have both red coat and drone teleport.
I mean, even without just having drone in general and not being able to have a way down there and knowing I have to come back for it is what gets me on it.
You can get down there with only red coat.
Well, yeah. Like, not having red coat or drone. Because you need one or the other to be able to get down there at all, as far as I'm aware.
You can grapple clip it.
Yeah, so Masochist can do
Like most things that you can do, or most walls of this game and floors and ceilings, they are a mere suggestion via the force of grapple, which is the primary tool via which we do chicanery to this game. So I see that you are a no nodes person.
Not usually. I mean, sometimes I'll grab them, sometimes I won't. I'm probably thinking that I should probably start grabbing them, you know, for like GDQ safety, being that
Fair.
is a thing. Like some of my runs, I will grab exactly 6 power nodes just to be able to have some kind of power early on in the game.
Yeah, power nodes is the thing I think I miss most from like regular runs to randomizer. Because you have the guaranteed one up front in regular mode, but you just don't in rando.
Yeah, so it's like you get something that gets you somewhere, but hi Falcon. It's like sometimes I just don't get anywhere with power nodes. Like the scene I did yesterday, it's like there was no power nodes for like freaking ever, and it was awful. I think I took like 5 deaths in my run yesterday.
Ooh, that is a mighty one.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Given a lot of those were just my fault and me playing terribly yesterday because I wasn't having a great day. But it is what it is.
This might be a bit of a sidetrack here. Would you be interested in having like the community bot for AVSR actually like post a daily randomizer seed to do?
I mean, yes, if you want to do that, if you guys want to set that up and get that going, I'll just run those seeds every day. It's like, as of the current,
I mean, yeah, that'd be really, really easy to do.
Yeah, if you want to do it, go for it. Like I said, as of current, it's just been a thing where it's like, I asked and a couple people are like, yeah, I'd be interested in running a daily one, so I started running daily ones, because it's like, well, as part of the whole like GDQ submission thing, they want to verify that, you know, you are practicing what you're playing, which is why I started streaming them every day. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to start running a random one every day, and no matter how terrible it is, I'm going to run it.
See, I didn't know that they wanted to see you practicing, because I do most of the practice for the game that I submitted offline.
Yeah, like, it's actually in the submission form, and I didn't want to hit him, but okay.
Oh, well, now you're doing it. Ah, YOLO room.
This is just one of them rooms in the game that I am just not great at.
This is, are you familiar with the any percent NMG speedrun?
Yes, for the most part. I mean, I got a time on it myself. Hey, fun room.
Nice. Yeah, this is the room where runs go to die in pretty much every category. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Beef has a strat where you don't stop and you shoot at very, very specific times, but it's really precise and, as far as I'm concerned, task only. But we have some people that actually try to execute it.
Hey, I mean, if somebody can pull it off, by all means, right?
Yeah, for that exact reason, we have a couple different rules that are de facto in randomizer racing, like the VGR rules of you have to collect your own teleport before going to Maru.
Oh, yeah, to stop people like VGR from doing ridiculous things?
Yeah, because Masochist mode is based off of the logic that he can do, and he's the guy that takes task-only things and does them regularly because that's just what he likes to do.
Yeah, the guy's a nut. What can we say?
Yeah, love him to death. He's a great friend. Look at that, a power node!
Yeah, I know, right? Speaking of VGR, we should have him on the couch as well by making him GDQ.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it's like you guys could just get to do a lot of banter.
Oh, man, the fans are incredible.
And it's like, I was thinking about it, and it's like, yeah, 2 devs on the couch, just getting to do the banter on what's going on in this game while I just get to run through it and concentrate, that'd be great.
I don't know if you've ever caught one of the multitude of occasions that we've had Tom on commentary, but he's a really, really funny guy as well.
I have, and I thought about it, and I was like, how do you guys go about getting Tom on commentary? And then I was like, you know, if by some chance... Yeah. if like by some chance both me and Sabir get our runs in, it's like I would think this is something I'd like to have you guys on the couch for, versus I would think like 100%. Sabir's run is supposed to be 100% IMB, which is all items, maps, all map coverage, and all bosses. And it's like, I figured that'd be something that's more well suited to Tom's expertise, because then, you know, it's very much in line of just getting everything in the game, versus this was, you know, built by you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we worked with him for it, but he by and large didn't touch the code base for it.
Yeah. It's like, as much as I'd love to sit down and just talk with Tom, it's like, this isn't something I'd want to, you know, pester him to get in on.
Right. Debugging with Tom is a magical experience. I highly recommend everybody do at least once, though.
I mean, you're assuming most people know how to debug.
In the Axiom Verge community, they do.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We've got some strange demographics. Like on average, the average person in the AVSR Discord is a software engineer in their mid-30s named Chris. We have like a weird overrepresentation of like all three of those, but
yeah, how does that work out?
I don't know. I'm sure it speaks volumes to like what kind of game this is, but it's just a thing that happened, and continually amuses me. But part of having a truly phenomenal amount of software engineers means we have a truly phenomenal amount of people that are looking into like modding the game and like doing rando, and like Tom is just all on board for that.
Hey, you're finding things.
Power node. Have you fought a boss yet?
I fought Zeter.
Yeah.
I mean, if you count Zeter as a boss.
Zeter is definitely boss shaped.
Definitely boss shaped. I like that. I'm gonna use that. This
He
is a room I generally hate going down in general, just because it's a slow room. Oh wait, I have teleport.
Yeah, about to say, the trick to this is you go through his trace and it's a lot easier.
Yeah, but then I have to go back through his trace, so what I end up doing here is just killing everything with this, since I have it.
And so now, since you're running on advanced, you're very, very familiar with like optimal drone swap movement, right?
Yes. I'm kind of bad at it here and there on some days, but for the most part.
It's the only strat that I'm good at. I can teach you at one point if you like.
No, I'm just bad at the rapid flipping stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because, while I may not actually be old, I definitely feel old, and years of games have, you know, started to sink tendonitis into my hands, probably. So, it's like, I can do it. I can do quick movements, and most of the time I prefer not to, just because I'm like, Nope.
Ah, the worst item.
See? He agreed. Willow agrees. That is indeed...
Reverse Slicer is fundamentally the worst. We actually, we had a bit of conflict. I forget where it was. It was in either a press release or like some offhand comment while he was doing commentary. But Tom said Reverse Slicer is more indicative of how he wanted AV2 to be, and we almost all like rage quit immediately. Like,
Wow.
like if that's gonna be AV2, then I don't want to play it. But like, no, from what we can tell, he meant that it was going to be more like puzzle based than combat based.
Right.
Which is very good as far as I'm concerned. Now the real question is, are you going to go do the Pepto Biz crawl?
Yes. Always.
Perfect.
Like, I found out about that strat of just going over there, and that's like, okay, that's easier than what I was doing, and that's easier than what a friend of mine came up with, because I fought him what it was probably in the intended way, by glitching the blocks on the upper left, and just using that as cover to jump in and out of the blocks and shoot him and whatnot. I'm not like, I didn't bother breaking the parts and everything, and just went straight for hitting him. But a friend of mine,
that is the ideal casual strat.
A friend of mine took the alternate route of getting Firewall and climbing up top and just sat up there and just on an angle launched Firewall shots down and killed him. And I was like, that's a thing?
I know somebody that does that. Are we thinking of the same person?
No. I can almost
Okay.
guarantee that my friend is somebody you've never met.
All right, fair enough.
It's just...
Yeah, no, I actually had that recommended to me as a rando strat, and I was like, that's genius. Like,
Yeah, I mean, sure, assuming you've got firewall. But yeah, just that one block that sits up there at the top of the room, you can absolutely hit, or get up there and onto it and just launch firewalls down at it, and I'm like, I did not know that was a thing. That's a range node, I don't care. Don't care about that one. Okay. This is a part where most people would probably go back, but I have seen items in a few places that I'm gonna go check so often that I have started making this part of my forced route just because of the ridiculous time it saves if I find an item in one of these spots.
Okay, so if I had to guess, you're going up to Indy and then probably checking some of the earlier parts of Eden.
I'm gonna check the earliest. I'm gonna check the Indy to Eden connection, just to see what is there. I won't be able to get it currently, but I have seen Redcoat there like 5 times.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, that's an awful one.
it's like it's been there so many times. It's like it'd be good to just know it's there because Redcoat more often than not is my last item to get. And
Here's some real fun trivia for you. There's a couple different RNG implementations inside of Axiom Verge's code base. We initially used the one that is used for the instances of random swim, like the squiggles that come out of the corals and Sentinel and whatnot.
Okay.
But the problem with that one is that it has a very, very low diffusion rate, which in terms of RNG algorithm means that, like, if you use the seed like 3000, seed 3001 is going to look pretty similar. Like a little different, but pretty similar. So we had to actually switch it to a much slower, less efficient, but more random algorithm.
That's a neat thing to know.
Yeah.
This is the
One of those fun little things from early beta.
This is the second thing I checked because, again, I've just seen so many things down here so often.
Spider hell.
Yeah, which is why I just send the drone down here, because it's easy enough to just go bloop and drone back. The last one is the one that I hate myself for, but I've seen Redcoat in this spot twice, and both times it took me forever to find it.
Arabu Indy connector?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, if it weren't for the fact I have seen it there a bunch of times, I wouldn't go and check it right now, but it's like, just to get it out of the way and be able to just have Redcoat now would save so much time overall. So it's like, might as well go for it.
That check is one of the main reasons that we added the here's your last collected item window.
That one, the one that's early on in Z, and I assume Willow Hallway, and a few others.
Yeah, there's an astonishing number of items that you can't actually see when you pick them up.
Okay, with that out of the way, I have to go the long way for 82 spot today, because I don't have 82 or address bombs.
You're running relatively intense aggression at the moment.
I tend to actually run mostly the intended route. The spots where it tends to get different depends on whether or not I have grapple when I get to Upper Kirk, because I'll just go do Ikerma. And then I'll usually go from there to Ukana. And if I'm lucky, I won't even touch Eden.
Yeah, Eden is always the last place that anybody checks. It just feels so far out of the way.
Problem is, now I'm stuck in here.
Yeah, that's what the old saving code is for.
Half stuck. I actually, in a run yesterday, was my terrible run because I started with address bombs, and I am 100% terrible at remembering that address bombs can actually glitch things.
They feel like a separate weapon, don't they?
They really do. And it's like, I forget that it's a thing a lot, and because of that, I ended up going back to the start like twice because I remember there was a return to start option. And it's like, oh yeah, I can just go back to start and figure out stuff back up there because I got the address bombs. And then I was like, no, wait, I'm an idiot. I can just glitch the things to get to where high jump is because it was sitting on the block in the lower pathway in Absu.
Mm.
And then I was like, okay, now that I got high jump, I can probably go back and get something. And I was like, no, wait a minute, I can just go forward more and glitch the bubbles up with the mushrooms. So it was a train wreck of a run yesterday.
See, and that exact kind of thing is why making randomizer for this game is shockingly difficult. Because there's so many options at any given time.
Like, there really is an astounding amount of options with this game.
See, what'd you get? Ooh, there's Glitch Bomb.
I mean, I won't argue about that.
What's in the Jordan spot, though? Absolutely nothing of value.
It's too bad I don't have trench coat, because I'd go around and just get the back item there, but...
This does mean that you can go to Upper Curve. Actually, wait, you don't need trench coat.
For Upper Curve?
You can do that with what you currently have. It would suck, but, like, you can do it.
Oh, no, I'm absolutely actually going to Upper Curve right now.
No, I mean the one in the top right of that room, like the 2-block tall tunnel that was above the 1-block drone.
I absolutely could, but you're absolutely right, and it sucks to do, which is why I'm not doing it.
Yep. Something to consider for advanced. That is in logic.
Oh, I know. We're just gonna hope that there's nothing there.
All right.
This is my one other out of the way check, because I've seen him have something a few times.
Oh, are we randomizing that now?
Huh? Oh yeah. It's been randomized for as long. I messed it up. That's been randomized for as long as I've known of.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought we were having issues with making that work because it's the one item in the game that is handled really differently from every other one. It's like it was hard actually getting it to randomize that, but it's cool to see that that's actually in.
Can you give any details on that, or is that something that's like behind closed doors?
No, that's not particularly hard. Most of the items have two parts to them. They have their actual entity data, and they have the location in the map files. We have a decompiled version of Axiom Verge somewhere that we learned a lot of things from, and it was how we made the mod initially. And that revealed that like Tom was using some pretty standard tools to build things. So he was using an application called Tiled that allows you to create tile maps and levels, and that's what all the levels are made in. And in that format, they allow you to place reservations for entities, and then when your coach loads it, they can say, hey, go find this. Then.
You kind of cut out there a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. Which part dropped out?
You were talking about the tool.
Okay, so Tiled allows you to create tile maps and levels, which is what every level and every map in Axiom Verge is designed in. It's all in one very big tile map with zones marked off for each individual area. So as part of Tiled file format, you can create reservations for entities like items and enemies, and when your code loads that map, you can spawn those in. So we have a table that just corresponds like this location goes to this item, and then the randomizer, after doing the funky logic jig, it just changes what table it's referring to. But that slug is not on the table anywhere. That slug is handled in the slug's code, and is like hard coded to be that way.
Weird.
Yeah, because it's the first slug that you corrupt drops the real one, and if you corrupt multiple slugs and kill them at the same time, then they all drop real ones, but the next ones don't count. Like, there's some complex behavior instead of just this item go here.
I don't usually go through Gear Tab, but I have a good feeling I'll have a really easy time with Gear Tab today.
I mean, you've got a whole 2 power nodes. You're basically in any percent YMG territory.
I also have this.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. I didn't even consider that. I was like, you're gonna go in there with 200 health?
And dead.
Alright.
So yes, I did go in here with 200 health.
I can respect that.
Otherwise, I'd have probably just stayed quick back and came back around. But, because what I would have done instead was grabbed that first item, gone back, and then came up and got to this room over here from the other side. From, Drone's room?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just do that to come over to Grapple's room. But
Speaking of which, are you headed to Grapple room now?
I am headed to Grapple's room currently.
I'm sorry.
Not that bad. I still think it's just funny that even Tom himself said that he could have put less enemies in the room.
That was originally what Axiom Verge looked like. Was like every room in the game that had enemies was going to be like Grapple room, and he got this on a on the sweep of making it less difficult.
I got that one. I actually just do a lot of this room on sound when I have Fat Beam because it's like, I know there's stuff here, I know there's stuff here.
Oh yeah, Fat Beam helps enormously here. Like, the enemy spam in Grapple room is intense, to say the least.
I don't know how I didn't get hit there, but okay. I'm not gonna argue.
The game's collision engine works in mysterious ways, and by that I mean it's pretty, like, industry bog standard, but it tries to cheat in your favor sometimes.
Sometimes, and you know, we can hope for the best, but it doesn't always work out.
Alright, what's on the podium of suckers?
Nothing I want to go for.
Very nice. Bad weapon and grapple in vanilla location. That is impressive. Some more fun technical insight is that we do not place any item in its vanilla location unless we have literally nowhere else we can put it.
Really?
And we will like go back and reshuffle the deck several times to try to avoid that. But if it has to happen, then it has to happen.
That's actually something I didn't know.
Yeah, the randomization engine itself, like making the randomizer integrate with the game is pretty easy because you just swap out the table that says this item goes in the spot. Making the logic that generates the table that we swap it out with is really, really hard. So we built an entire engine around it that is designed to make our lives a little bit easier, working with like standardized data files. But as part of that, it's not always necessarily like a linear path of it goes through every location in the game, just picks something and throws it in there. It will take the deck and reshuffle it quite a bit.
That's actually a really interesting fact to know. Personally, I think that's interesting anyways.
Yeah, the last thing we want in the randomizer is for you to have a completely vanilla experience.
Took one bonk too much there.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
I'll go from underneath. I usually try to just get the drone through there over to this drone hallway over here, but did not work out for me today.
Yeah, this mini dungeon is one of my least favorite things to check in Rando.
I don't generally mind this one too much. Mostly just because I've learned to just be like, okay, that one's gonna shoot, take a bonk.
There is a fast cycle. That is a thing you can get in on. It's very, very tight, but you can do it.
100%
Wow.
worth it.
All right. This is a really good team.
So now we're looking for this bad placement, semi-bad placement of the red coat, which Thoriel said could have been in a worse place.
All right, so I'd be willing to bet one of the weird left side alcoves in upper Kerr here.
Oh shoot, I almost forgot to...
Willow doing commentary and not making jokes. I am making jokes, you're just not hearing them. You can't perceive them. They're like quantum meta jokes. They're so, like...
Are your jokes also glitching out a little bit?
Yep. Ah, this one. Did that a lot cleaner than I would have done it.
I've had practice. What can I say?
Ooh, alright. This is getting spicy.
almost right. I always end up landing in this alcove for whatever reason.
Yeah, even after spending a couple hundred hours collecting every map tile, I'm still not super clear on, like, the best path through this room. Hey, Trenchcoat's pretty good to see.
Good, Mario. How are you doing today? This one's just an annoying one to go through.
Yeah, there's a drone launch pattern you can use to get through it damageless, but it's not fun, especially if you're trying to, like, preserve trace on the other side of things.
Which I absolutely am. Something I tend to do a lot is just preserve trace in places.
It's a very interesting optimization, or like micro-optimization that you can do in your movement to determine where to leave trace and where to be drone swapping, and it kind of varies from runner to runner, and that's one of the things that I really like to see. It's just people taking full advantage of all the mechanics.
Ah, I messed it up.
This room, however, I have never done as just drone, and I do not envy you for the task.
It's actually usually really easy. Take a bunk there. Ooh, took one extra there that I shouldn't have. But usually if I make it on the first round, I can just take 2 hits, I think, in the whole room.
Alright, so you got 2 coats, you got high jump, you got drone teleport, you got extended launch, you got glitch 1 and glitch 3.
Want to guess where I'm going?
You got grapple. You're going to temple.
I sure am.
You're going to do temple skip, aren't you?
Well, halfway through.
Halfway through.
Yeah. Like, I still have to check upper temple. So, upper temple to go through is actually really, really fun. And then I will temple skip my way through lower.
Gotcha.
Do you want to give me health so I don't have to go back down? Cool.
There's a save room up ahead.
I'm not using that save room.
Not even going to check the item on the left side, huh?
Damn it, I almost forgot. I'd have remembered. Eventually.
One of these years. Watch, I was waiting for that to be where Red Coat was.
I'm expecting it to either be in Temple or in Ukina.
I'd buy Ukina. I know a lot of people try to save Ukina until, like, absolute last minute. Partially because you gotta do it twice.
I end up killing this thing usually anyway, so I'm just gonna kill it first. So that way I don't necessarily have to pick up this item, since I don't need to.
You know, with all the power node fragments you've seen so far, you probably would have had another full power node.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, I think I'm gonna start grabbing 6 as just, like, you know, the quote-unquote marathon safety.
Yeah. I don't have the actual, like, numbers right off the top of my head. But,
It's too
yeah, a lot of nodes in Randomizer to get rid of the notes.
Yeah, I specifically remember VGR saying that because it's like I tried to do 100% run in Randomizer and then couldn't. I still want to know why this is a thing.
Ah, pizza strat.
I found that out accidentally and I was just like, what?
Yeah, that's pizza strat. It is the only out of bounds clip that is allowed in any percent NMG, and it's you can do it going down too, but that one's not allowed in NMG. It is. Tom just forgot to fill in that wall with collision.
Is that what it is? Because I was asking VGR about it. It's like, I don't know, it's just a thing. And I was like, okay, sure. But
Yeah,
why?
those tiles don't have proper collision for some unknowable reason.
Yeah, that was what I was questioning with them. It's just like, why those particular tiles? And how else can we abuse this? And it's like, yeah, we've already done the looking. I was like, of course you have. Why wouldn't you?
So, without getting into too much detail that I'm not allowed to reveal, Tom is a very old school and intense programmer. He is what I would describe as a computer science person. He is very, like, math-oriented and very, like, in control of all things that happen. So he didn't build Axiom Verge using any kind of engine. He built it using Monogame, which is technically a game engine, but mostly just contains rendering primitives. for like drawing sprites to the screen and at frame rates. And everything else he built himself. So like all the gravity is defined by him defining an equation that expresses gravity and applying it to the player. And same deal with collision. So sometimes there's some spots where collision is applied incorrectly. Like Temple was one of the first areas that he made for the game. So in that was kind of the testing ground. So collision on those tiles, which are probably from very early on in development, is not necessarily correct.
You made Temple first?
Temple was first.
That's actually interesting.
Or one of the first.
Okay, yeah, one of the first. Nah, like, I'd buy that. Like, the first? I would think
I believe it was the first, but I can't prove it.
Right. It's like, I could be wrong, but I would think in, like, random game development in general, you would kind of start with, you know, your starting area.
In general, the easiest way to see, like, what is the earliest thing in game development process is what is the, like, most boxy and, like, most small corridor area. Like, generally, the smaller the area, the earlier on it was made. And temples just kind of these short hallways leading up to squares.
So, going back to Temple Glitch here, this is one of the things I put on my incentive for my GDQ run, being a glitch incentive, and this is one of the...
Sorry?
Wow. So that happened. So this is one of the things I put on my glitch incentive if you want to go ahead and kind of give a little explanation of what's happening here.
Oh, that was gold. That was a soft lock of what that was.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
No, I mean, I'm laughing. That's hilarious. I've only ever done that in all the times I've ever done temple skip. I did it successfully like 20 times before the first time I ever saw it do that, and I was just like, what the hell just happened?
That's exactly what I did.
It's like, I wasn't even aware that that was possible.
Yeah, when I was in an option is when I started doing it.
So,
like,
anyways, on my way back up here, would you like to give just a quick little explanation of what it is that I'm going to do? Rather, not so much how to do it, just what's going to happen.
Yeah, so Temple Skip is one of my favorite glitches in this game, or like one of my favorite applied instances of it. So Axiom Verge and the underlying game engine makes the very bold assumption that on an infinite grid of 2D points, if you put a set of coordinates on that grid, it will be in the same spot. Which, if you don't live in an insane, wacko, bullshit, weird world, that's a pretty reasonable assumption to make. Like, if you create a set of coordinates, those coordinates will point to those coordinates. However, because only one map is loaded into memory at a time, when you transition, your coordinates that your grapple is hooked onto are applied to the map that you go. So you can apply your coordinates at that door of where your grappling hook is located, and then you go through the door at the same frame so that grapple doesn't delatch, and on the next map it's like, oh, I need to go like way in the top right of Temple, and it drags you through as much of the friendly collision it can locate for that, and that happens to place us about halfway through it, our end goal in Temple during a speedrun as possible. So you'll see he's getting dragged through the void here. As a consequence of this, because rooms only have the camera transition to them, when you go through a door into that room, you have to do this entire section blind. So if you would like me to shut up so you can focus on audio cues, I can.
Nope. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's navigating through a room called Green Hell, which is called that way because it's green and it sucks. It's basically like Grapple Room Round 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, why do you keep talking about Green Hell? I've never had an issue with this room.
Probably because like we typically do it loaded, where the enemies are.
I mean, I used to just drone teleport through the room like super fast. That's why it's like I never really kind of caught on why people thought it was a difficult room. Just drone shot, drone shot, drone shot, drone shot, done.
It's specifically when the lime green, like Metroid kind of guys catch you.
Yeah.
And you have to stop to deal with that. If you nail your drone shots and you don't get hit by them, then you're free and clear, but otherwise it's real hard.
Those little guys up there.
I think they're called Furglots. I'm not entirely certain.
I have no clue.
If we had Angie here, she would know.
I do not have password tools, so we're not checking that.
Excellent job avoiding the second soft lock in Temple Skip, by the way.
There's a second one?
Well, see, now I don't know if I should tell you about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never run into it, and I'm really sad that that power node is there.
Alright, I'll tell you because it's super easy to avoid. When Trace gets jerked away into green hell, you don't want to dash out immediately. If he gets jerked twice, then that means that you can dash out immediately and you're good. If he gets jerked once and he immediately disappears off screen, that means that you are currently inside of the passcode area, which you cannot get out of if the room is unloaded. Ooh, very nice flamethrower.
Oh, I usually just do it on a timing.
Yeah, if you wait a little bit, you'll be good. If you wait too long, you'll actually be dragged to a different area.
Right.
But a really easy way to tell is to pull up the map and see if your map tile is over the R in Ikrama or the U. If it's over the U, don't dash out. If it's over the R, you're fine.
And I used to do that, but looking at the map is slow.
It is slow. It does prevent a soft lock, though, so, like, trade-offs.
I mean, I also just soft locked myself, so...
True. Yeah, when you do like wacky things like that, it gets wild.
Okay, so with that done and out of the way, you want to explain what I'm going to do next? Because you know what I'm about to do next.
If I had to guess, you're about to do vision skip, which I am actually the least qualified person on the planet to explain, but it is another application of coordinates on a 2D plane not staying in the same spot because like speedruns are wild. You're going to be transitioning through a vertical door at the same time that you grapple onto the vertical door. You're going to be dragged way far out of bounds into a room that doesn't exist. And by that, I mean it exists. It's in the tiled map files, but it is not actually connected to anything. There is a door in the bottom left of that room that if you go through, you will hard lock.
You can't get through that anymore, by the way.
Oh yeah, did we patch that?
Yeah, VGR blocked that off with some beams because Tom was like, yeah, no, go ahead. If it's crashing the game... So,
okay.
You got that taken
I know we had talked about doing that, but yeah, so now you're getting in a very, very specific position to do some grapple chicanery in order to clip through the floor of that room into a room that does actually exist, and then you'll be going through a door in that to load the camera up to Trace's position, and then you're going to be going directly into the Vision boss fight. This skips a hallucination sequence with a long climb and a bunch of other complications.
This one I think
which
I
isn't...
actually need the audio cue for.
Yep.
There it goes.
Perfect.
I'm not the greatest in the world at actually pulling that off.
I've never done it.
It's just all in timing. It's like, I can do it. It just sometimes takes me a minute to do it 7 or 8 times. I think yesterday I got it in like 2.
Yeah, I've never managed it successfully. This is always a fun one during marathons to like put your controller down and have people go, what?
It's a nice input break, time to grab a drink, rehydrate.
Things I didn't know until the randomizer came out. That the speed in which the quote-unquote boss there dies is actually affected by how many power nodes you have.
Yes, it is. I think
right.
you might be more qualified to answer that question from Mario than I am.
Which gets soft lock more, the transport head in Indy or Trace himself? I do not even understand that question. Are you asking what causes soft locks? Because, like, by and large, it's the player's fault.
This is one thing that I generally check at this point, and I will always check even if I am ready to just go, because, again, I see things there way too often. And it's like,
oh, yeah.
It's like 15 seconds to just drop down there and grab that and come back up.
I think any percent MG is the only category we have remaining where we actually climb up that.
And I've done that a handful of times too, and God, is that annoying to do.
It's not bad as long as you like get the timing down, but it's very much like a muscle memory and like super quick reaction thing.
I'll grab that.
Oh yeah. How it gets stuck in the wall or all the way through? Okay, yeah. I don't know how any of y'all have managed to get Oraka embedded into the wall.
Wait,
That is a thing we cannot reproduce.
That's a thing?
Yeah, people have ridden Oraka, like the head in Indy, and have had her, like, keep going too far and then get stuck in a wall. And, like, we can't make that... Like, we have no idea how that happens. That has, like, pretty much only happened to one person, and I cannot reproduce it. It's a thing. And then sometimes, if your frame rate is super, super high, like greater than 2,000 to 3,000, when you're on Oraka, you'll like partially clip into her platform, and then both of you will be stuck.
I can't say I've ever had that happen either.
Yeah, it's very uncommon, like even at high frame rates. It's pretty much like a quantum tunneling event, as far as the game code is concerned.
I almost forgot to come down here and check this.
Ooh. Well, good news and bad news.
I think password tool's the thing I ever hate finding.
That you do hate finding, or that you don't?
It's the thing that I just hate finding anywhere. Because if I find it somewhere in my run, then there's a chance that I actually have to use it. And that's just really, really slow.
Yep.
And on top of that, I've never actually, like, found anything in any of their rooms. So it's like,
I've had some good stuff in, like, Flamethrower spot before, but that's about it. Really, the best possible usage of passcode tool is Justin Bailey.
Oh yeah, I always forget that's a thing. Trace looks so weird with it.
It makes you significantly more aerodynamic, and therefore your runs are faster.
I don't believe that in the slightest, but I'll take it.
It's not true, but I'm gonna say it. Besides, how great is it to have like this serious, like H.R. Geiger looking Metroidvania and some dude sprinting around in a thong? Ah, this room.
I've seen red coat in here too, like that. I think the first of the ones. No, I think the one I actually submitted for GDQ, red coat was in there.
Part of the way that we generate the map makes red coat more likely to be in really insane locations. Both because it's fairly late on in the item order. I want to say it's like number 63 to 70 somewhere in there in the actual item order. So it's closer to the end of the list of things we randomize. And it fulfills the most possible requirements. So it could be pretty much anywhere. We did unfortunately have to tell the game that red coat doesn't technically count as drill, because otherwise it was really, really likely that you were going to see it in one of the first 3 or 4 spots.
So I've shown this off a couple times, but why does that happen?
Do you want to know?
Yeah, as probably a whole lot of people know, you can use it to get into the area to do drug skip, because like that's the big thing, is just getting grapple so you can get through there and whatnot. Why? Like, I get the fact that like when you hit grapple and hit the ceiling and turn around, it puts you on the other side. Why does that one just let you go through when it's all the way extended?
I will open up with a quote of Thomas Happ, who said, "The grapple is poorly coded" as a reference to the grapple in Bionic Commando being poorly coded. It would be a lot easier for him to have it move on a linear arc, but he wanted it to emulate the jank of some of the games of his childhood, so he pre-programmed 5 different angles that you'll be, and then depending on the length of the grapple from there, it will place you those. Collision doesn't actually happen when moving between those angles, so that's kind of the way that the vision skip clip that puts you through the floor works, because you're in the floor, the game says, hey, you shouldn't be there, and ejects you out the nearest side. So the same principle applies there. When you're swinging, collision doesn't happen. So you just go right through that wall and onto your next angle, happy as a clam.
It's just super weird.
Yeah, the grapple is not very well coded. On purpose.
I don't say on purpose, just to make
on
clear.
Purpose. Yeah, no, I've been working as a professional software engineer for quite some time, and like Tom is one of the smartest coders that I've seen in my life. So like it's on purpose. If there's some jank, he did that on purpose.
Yeah, like, another thing that was brought up, like, as Tom himself mentioned at one of the GDQs that he was present on call for, he doesn't quite understand why, like, developers take, like, helpful glitches out of their games. Being a reason why he left the whole thing, or, correct me if I'm misremembering this, because I might be. There was the whole thing with, like, the quick drone teleporting from resetting it, was known. And just whatever it was done originally that let it do what it does, it was too easy to do, so he rebuilt it so it did that off of the drill and the disruptor.
So I'm not entirely certain about the difficulty factor.
I think I saw
that one.
I have green shot.
You can mash Alt and Enter if you don't have it on.
I just had to turn green shot off because I forgot to turn that off before my run today.
Yeah, I don't. So I don't know about the difficulty part of that. That may be correct. VGR would know more about that than I do, but the being known during development, oh yeah, that was found super early in QA, and they were like, hey, you should patch this, it lets you fly, and he was like, no, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's like good on Tom Happ for, you know, thinking about speedrunners. Like, this is something that they want to do it to get places fast, let them do it.
Yeah,
it's like
not doing that check on the left is bold. Oh wait, no, you did do that, never mind, sorry, I mixed up the save room and the item room.
Oh wait, I gotta go check shards. Shards is one I end up passing up on accident far too often.
I don't think I've ever checked shards on a rando race.
I mean, I've seen things here once or twice. Mostly just full nodes, but I mean, full nodes, and it's like...
Full nodes are...
full node I can get. Is there a way to check the item that's right below here? These are what I was worried about. The item that I'm about to go get. Is there a way to check this from outside this room?
I'd be willing to bet if you asked Beef that question and then gave him 24 hours, the answer would be yes, but as of right now, no.
I'm almost certain you're right.
Yeah, no, that's like one of my favorite sports, is just occasionally when I get bored, I'll ask Beef, like, hey, can I do this seemingly impossible thing? It'll be like, yeah!
Yeah, no, it's totally doable.
It's totally doable. Like, it's a frame rate dependent jump, but like, it's doable.
I didn't need that anyways. This is a room I hate going through too. Or rather, I used to hate going through it, and then like drone teleporting like that makes it a lot easier. But I still end up hitting birds here and there from one stupid thing or another. I didn't mean to pick it up, but I guess it's a health fill.
Yeah, I got the heal at least. Is that how you're supposed to do that?
I assume that's how it's intended to be gotten. It's not how I got it the first time.
I have exclusively redcoat dashed into that wall. I've never done anything else.
I actually took one of these guys and glitched it and let it break the blocks because I thought that was how you were intended to do it.
I'd buy that.
And then at some point in time I was like, oh, the top couple of tiles aren't solid and you can just walk through them? Okay, that's how you're intended to get that then, apparently.
Yeah, this game does a pretty good job of avoiding what I like to refer to as Super Metroid blocks. But sometimes it does do that for collectibles.
I've also learned the hard way not to go fight that boss.
Which one?
The clone.
Clone?
Yep.
Why? What happens when you fight clone?
It locks you to the save point up above it. Even in Randomizer.
Not usually.
In Randomizer, it still locks you to the save room above it, and I found that one out the hard way, and I was like, oh great, now I've got to walk all the way out of here. So that's...
so fun fact, that is kind of RNG. It does not always do that. That's awful. That's a truly awful redcoat location.
It's just RNG that does it. Well, the one time I did it, it did it to me, so...
It's supposed to 100% of the time lock you to that save point up there when you enter clone. It doesn't always do that. And the old, very very old, like I first started running like several years ago, old kind of IMB route, actually relied on using that as a save warp to get up there. And I save warped and I went somewhere else, and I was like, why did this happen?
Well, that's an interesting fun fact to know.
Yeah. I actually think I still have a bounty out for it for like $200 if somebody can make it consistent. That is not a developer on the game.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I know people
Alright, so you're heading up.
Warp up that, but what were you saying?
You're heading up to clear out in-game now, yeah?
I am.
You're pretty well equipped. You got all 3 coats worth of damage reduction.
So, back on the note of your favorite useful clips for temple skip, I have one that I'm about to use that I don't know if you've ever actually seen me use or not.
For one of your leaderboard runs that I was verifying, I saw it and I was like, what? I didn't even know that was an option. I was looking at that and I was like, what is this?
Yep, and you can thank Sabira for showing me that this was possible. Because I was like, I have a terrible time with skipping this boss. And so Sabira's like, I was like, is there a way to, just get around it or do something about it? And in mentioning of things, and we were just talking about temple skip. And she's like, you could technically unload Sentinel with it, but you'd have to do the room blind. And I'm like, show me. And she's like, boom. And, alright. And she's like, boom, that's how you unload it. I'm like, okay, so here's the problem with that is grappling up in that corner requires you to, use the grapple to, refocus yourself, which is awful to do.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet.
Shoot.
You got this.
I do not got this.
Ah, you're fine.
Yeah. Using grapple to realign yourself in that corner while you're being hit is an awful thing to do. It's like, can't you just take a damage boost from a bullet and get knocked backwards into the door? She's like, won't that push you back? And I'm like, not that I know. She tried it, and she's like, oh, holy crap, that works. And it was like, that's a super easy, perfect, consistent setup for just putting yourself up against the door. Is just taking a hit off a bullet, because, I mean, realistically, if you're trying the other Sentinel skip, you're taking a hit off Sentinel. And in low percent, you can survive a bullet.
Ah, low percent. That category is a mistake.
I mean, yeah. As long as you can consistently do temple skip, then you can technically do this.
The other method of skipping that boss is jumping up underneath him, grappling the ceiling, using your iframes to grapple the ceiling again, and then doing a thing that we call a grapple coat, which is your dashes with the coat start and are measured by where Trace's feet are. So if Trace is in one of the 5 pre-programmed angles, say 180 degrees parallel to a 3-tile thick vertical wall, you can dash through vertical walls that are instead of just 2-tile thick.
That was a little close because I messed up one of my drone throws.
But you still made it.
It is. I did make it. We are fine.
Just fine. Now you're gonna fight X2, right?
Heck no.
This is the worst IMB run I've ever seen.
If this is an IMB run, I'm supremely ahead of time.
Rejected from the leaderboards.
Like, Sabir would kill me if this was an IMB run and I was on this time. Because
I've since retired from the category, but like, yeah, if you beat the record by about 20 minutes, I'd be pretty upset too. That actually happened to me. That was I had a world record in IMB, and then VGR rerouted it as improv and beat it by like 20 minutes.
Quick second of concentration here.
Yep.
Not the best I've ever had, but okay. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, no, I had world record in IMB. VGR was like, you know, I haven't done IMB in a long time, and then he just improvised a route, and it ended up being way faster and saved like 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been like 6 months of my life grinding that. I've since retired from the category because it's like significantly more glitch heavy than I would like. But it's still like what I would describe as a lot more fun than 80% YMG. Because you get the flamethrower and all the power nodes, and you just turn bosses into piles of slag, and it's just top notch.
So you want to give just a quick little thing of the last boss here on what's going on?
Yeah, so Athedos is the old man in the tube, and Athedos is the final boss. He's also you. It's really complicated. That little gem up top is like the power core for his life support system. You need to take that out 3 times. Elsa Nova, aka Giant Big Gun Snake Lady, is coming in and firing at the little elevator that you're in right now to disable it. And after you break the gem 3 times, he is dead. And you can also get out of bounds from this room using a grapple code.
If I have flamethrower on my GDQ run, I will do that on the 3rd round of that, just because I think it's fun.
It is fun. It's also slower because red coat by volume is most of your DPS.
Fun fact that me and Sabira found out while we were tinkering around with just going out of bounds and stuff and trying to get out of bounds of Maru, and that's a whole different story for a different day. If you jump off the left-hand side and you fall all the way down, it actually puts you right above the save room, and you can just red coat down and into the save room, which gets you out of Thanos' fight.
Yeah, you can leave the fight. If you go off the right side, though, you can get into what was originally going to be the final boss and is now completely unused. It's very pointless because your camera is locked, but if you unlock it using hacks, you can see some cool stuff.
With the save room, at least, you can at least walk out of the save room and walk back in it to save.
Yeah.
And it seems that, like, it picks the fight up from the same point at which you left, which is really weird, but that was a good run. That was a favorable run, aside from the one death I took, but, I mean, it happens, and I'm still well under estimate. That's like 20 minutes under my estimate.
Yeah, 109.30 is not a bad time at all.
So, that's going to be it for today. And, Willow, I want to thank you for coming along and for the commentary. I'm sure people probably appreciate a bunch of explanations on all kinds of things, and hopefully I make it into GDQ, and I'll have you there, and you could tell a crowd of 200,000 people the same thing that you just told everybody here today.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I had a really good time.
My pleasure. All right, guys, we are gonna go. I want to thank you all for watching today. Everyone have a wonderful night, and I will. Wait, what's today? Wednesday? Today is Wednesday. So I guess I will see you all sometime tomorrow.
All right. Have an excellent evening, my friend.